Hello friends, it's lovely to hear good and nice comments from you for the past videos. I'm really thankful to you. And today's lecture topic is cell wall. So by me, Dr. Aprajita Rao. Let's continue. So if you see the cross section of this plant cell, in the outside, the outermost layer you see, it is named as cell wall. So cell wall, it is a protective layer surrounding the cell on the outside of the plasma membrane. Another very important thing that you should know is that cell wall is only present in plant cells and not in animal cells. The most commonly asked question in the whole of cell biology, we'll be covering it at the last lecture of this topic, is the difference between plant cell and animal cell. Okay, so now coming back to cell wall consists of three types of layers. First being the middle lamella. The middle lamella is the layer which is formed first. It is formed during the cell division only, and it makes up the outer wall of the cell. And another very important property of cell wall is that when there are a group of cells together, the cell walls, they share each other. Like the cell walls of adjacent cells, they share each other's cell wall. So this layer is made up of pectin compounds and proteins. See, in this lecture you'll have to come across a lot of words like cellulose, hemicellulose, pectin. These are just organic molecules and you have to learn their names. Further, you'll be reading about them in your 11th class biology and your chemistry. The next layer formed just after the middle lamella is the primary wall. Okay, so it consists of cellulose microfibrils and which is embedded in a gel-like matrix of pectin compounds, hemicellulose and glycoproteins. And the last layer is secondary, the secondary wall. See, in biology and in medicine, whenever we use the term primary, so that means the thing is happening first. Okay, that has happened first. And whenever secondary is used, it is used only in two conditions. First, it will be that all the processes have ended and then this process has taken place, or this process has taken place after an injury has occurred. So this is a basic concept. So just like I told you, it is formed after cell enlargement has completed, the process has ended. Now this secondary wall is the one responsible for compression strength. Very important MCQ. And it is made up of cellulose, hemicellulose and lignin. The secondary wall is often layered. So in detail about the primary and secondary wall, if you see these diagrams, this is the primary wall, the lighter one. The darker one is the secondary wall, and the one joining the two cell walls, if you see, is the middle lamellae. So the primary wall is more prominent in the growing cells. Okay, so when you were growing or when you were a kid, you might have noticed that you were very flexible. You were thin and you were flexible. So similarly, the primary cell wall is thin and flexible. But now when you are matured enough, your flexibility has considerably reduced. You might have seen this. So similarly, mature cells no longer needs to be extensible and it becomes rigid, and the secondary cell wall is produced either by hardening of the primary cell wall, either the primary cell wall has hardened, or adding or the layering of the secondary cell wall. This feature is basically a feature of cell aging when the layers are added up in the secondary cell wall. Now the primary cell wall, it is a cell wall is a network of microfibril threads, chains of cellulose, cross-linking polysaccharides or hemicellulose, matrix of mainly acidic polysaccharides or pectins, and calcium bridges, pectin chains. So why I have included this slide is mostly when you are going for your PMTs, okay, your pre-medical tests, what they do is they don't write the term cellulose. They add the term microfibril threads just to confuse you. So you should be knowing all the different terminologies they can use. Now cellulose, now we are going to cover the properties and the function of each and every component. That is cellulose and cross-linking ligands, that is hemicellulose, it provides the tensile strength. Okay, compressive strength is, we just studied, compressive strength is, it is provided by the secondary cell wall. Now pectin is very sticky in nature, and the middle lamella, which is rich in pectin and it cements the adjacent cells together. We have just seen it in the picture before. It also constitutes of protein, which is about 5%. Now comes the plasmodesmata. The plasmodesmata, I just told you that cell walls are connected to each other. So how are they connected to each other? Just look at this diagram right here. These cell walls, they have some small channels like doors. These doors or openings or the microscopic channels are known as plasmodesmata. Okay, they link the adjacent plasma membrane, and because they are like doors, so they enable intercellular transport and communication between the cells. Now pectin, which is very sticky in nature, we just studied about it. When it is in the absence of calcium and magnesium ions, it is very soluble in nature. But when calcium and magnesium is present, it forms a deformable gel. And why are we studying this? Because the food industries, they use this property to make jellies and jams. Again, use a very common multiple choice question asked. Now, I hope you have heard my last lecture of cell transport, because if you haven't, you will not get this slide at all. So, cell wall is made of neutral and charged polysaccharides. So, because of that, it absorbs water when it is in a hypotonic solution, and when the water is absorbed, the turgor pressure is obviously increased. The plant cell becomes turgid, and because of that, it is very firm. The plant cell, when it is in a hypotonic solution and turgid, that is when it is in a healthy state, which is very unlike the animal cells. And if a plant cell is flaccid, then it has to be in a isotonic solution or in a hypertonic solution. So if you have not got what I just spoke, please go and refer to the last video, that is video 7 and video 8, because it is a very long topic and I cannot explain it because I have already explained it before. So this is what I am talking about. When the water enters, the plant cell becomes turgid, that is normal. When it is in an isotonic solution, that is equal amount of water is coming in and going out, it is flaccid in nature, and in a hypertonic solution it becomes plasmolized. So on the basis of tonicity, the plant cell and animal cells, they differ. Like if you place the plant cell in a hypertonic solution, we just read it becomes plasmolized, and the animal cell, it shrinks. In an isotonic solution, the plant cell becomes flaccid or non-turgid, whereas the animal cell is normal in an isotonic solution, but plant cell, it is normal in a hypotonic solution. Very big difference and a very common MCQ. When an animal cell is placed in a hypotonic solution, it swells. Now, another very common difference is the difference between cell membrane and cell wall. So, cell membrane, we have cell membranes in all cells, that is, be it human cells or animal cells or plant cells, but cell wall is only present in plant cells and bacterial cells. The cell membrane is actually an organelle, and it is very flexible in nature, whereas we just studied that the cell wall, it is non-living in nature and has a fixed shape. The cell membrane is a lipid bilayer and it is made up of lipoproteins, whereas the cell wall, it's made up of pectin, chitin, lignin, cellulose, hemicellulose, glycoproteins and glycolipids. The cell membrane, because it is very flexible in nature, it can change shape very easily, whereas the cell wall, it has a fixed shape, and whenever we apply pressure, because it is rigid in nature, it will break. The cell membrane, it has receptors on its surface, and because of that, it can receive signals from the external chemicals, like this hormones can come and attach, and the cell can perform its functions. But a cell wall, it does not have any receptors. The cell membrane, it changes its own shape and gives rise to flagella, which is used for movement, or pili, which is used for reproduction. Whereas a cell wall, it facilitates flagella and pili through small apertures. See, there is a small aperture and through it the flagella is coming out. The cell membrane is of the same thickness whole its life. But because of the secondary wall, the cell wall, it grows in thickness because it becomes more and more rigid as the cell ages. The cell membrane, as we know, is selectively permeable in nature, Whereas the cell wall, it is impermeable, nothing can pass through it. The cell membrane has functions like permeability, signal reception, motility as in amoeba, conduction that is in nerve cell, cell division and sexual reproduction. The cell wall has a simple function that is protection from the external harsh environment. The cell membrane, it requires nutrition from cell, so it shrinks during fast and drought condition because it is not able to eat. But the cell wall is mere deposit of substance and it is non-living, so it does not need nutrition but mere deposition in cases of damage. Like I told you, when there is any injury, something secondary has to deposit, so that secondary in this case is a secondary wall. So that's all about cell wall you need to study. I really want to thank you. I hope you understood. If you have any questions, please post in the comments below. Till then, till the next lecture, it's me, Aprajita Rao, signing off. Keep watching Edupedia videos and enjoy.